We're going to go through how to beat Curtis, Prince of Laughter. There is quite a few things to talk about with this, particularly as a lot of it is basically just mastering a lot of the stuff that's in the game. They've already told you a lot of it. We are technically one checkpoint before him. We're not going to go through the whole area, but I just want to show you guys how to get this torch, just in case you don't have it, as having the correct damage type made a significant difference for me. So that guy right there, as you can see, drops the sizzling torch. If he doesn't drop it for you, there is another one just up the stairs who will run out to fight you. Just here. Okay, so you want to farm those two enemies until you can get the sizzling torch. That is going to make a pretty significant difference for you, so go ahead and farm him until you have at least one of those weapons drop. Additionally, starting in the same place, if that is a fresh weapon for you and you need something to upgrade it with, I find the best enemy to farm or the best route to take is going to be out towards this gardener right here. I keep calling them clowns, but really not. Go ahead, fight this guy. He drops over 300 and something of the currency, and as far as I can tell is the fastest way to get a couple of weapons leveled if you are wanting to test a few of them out, which leads us on to the loadout. I'm only going to be using one loadout for this. I'm not going to be using much else. Got my sizzling torch up to +3. Doesn't take too long to do this, just on the gardener. I tested that myself. So you guys go ahead and do that if you wish to. I have the hardened stone, which you get given at the beginning anyway. The abilities, I don't find there are any that are particularly amazing, but I do like the duelist virtue for augmenting my weapon with extra fire damage for the second phase. So we're going to be building up the line so that we can then give ourselves some additional damage for the second phase once we get the boss under half health. This is going to allow us to do some extra damage. When it comes to the path effects, I can't remember what these are called now. Preparedness, absolutely amazing. I love being able to increase the poise damage by dodging. Great. The perfectly parrying an attack to heal you gives a little bit. It's not really amazing. Probably going to change this one out in the future. As we said before, casting ability in slot 3. Because this boss is weak to fire, which is why we've got the sizzling torch. This is what we're going to be using. The Layer of Thorns is amazing because I don't know if this is a bug, but even if we perfect parry and don't actually take the damage, the boss still takes the damage. So therefore, very nice cheeky way of getting additional damage out of your parries. So I highly recommend Layer of Thorns right now, unless this gets changed. And then we have casting any line is going to heal you, as well as mask lines take less time to charge up but deal less damage. You know what's amazing about this? We're not trying to deal damage with the lines. We're trying to add fire and we're trying to heal. Go ahead and do that. This is just going to allow you to heal, and it's a pretty good generalist build in my opinion. Go ahead and feel free to copy all of this loadout. And then we've gone with the aspect of the enchanter. This gives us the battle mage points, which allows us to charge up the lines even faster, meaning that when we're in battle we don't have any trouble augmenting our damage with extra fire and getting some free healing out of our lines. Only one consumable that I like to use in here, which is Ammonia Sap. I'm not going to use it in this video, but this can make so that you are healing in combat even more. In fact, you can almost ignore it, apart from when he does his double overhead slam thing, which can almost insta-kill you, which is the only real main issue in this boss fight, because if he corners you, you can't really get away with it properly. That means this is pretty good. Just allows you to stay in the fight for a little bit longer. When it comes to the boss battle itself, during the first half of the fight, so this is broken into 2 phases, he's going to initially try to charge at you. I generally struggle to parry this, so it might well be better to just stand at the door, wait for him to come to you, or to try and move to the side. Out of his moves, there's 1 or 2 main combos. The first one is the one where he just starts doing like a charge up overhead slam. Now, I don't like this because it changes its cadence more than once during the animation, and that's what makes it difficult to read. So in general, when he starts doing this, I try to dodge to the left, and that usually keeps me pretty safe. Because of our abilities, he should be taking posture damage from this anyway, which is quite useful. And then what I'll often do is try to parry the backhand attack that he'll often do directly afterwards. This is what's going to allow me to keep on getting the chip damage in there. Now, the difficulty is this can combo into up to 4 hits, and it's quite difficult to read whether or not he's going to do another attack or not. You can kind of get a gauge for it if you just keep an eye on his wrist. Sometimes you'll kind of see it do like a shake, and that means it's going to come through with another attack. But I like to try and go in for the chip damage, which means that I often get caught because I'm being greedy, and is why he often tries to catch me with extra attacks. He can just do a backhand attack on its own, and he does have a poke as well. Both of those are pretty easy to avoid or parry, as long as you get the timing down on it. That brings us to the second phase. Second phase is quite dangerous. He's going to start it with a huge explosion, so you're best off just moving away and then re-engaging when you're ready. The most dangerous move here, as I said before, is his overhead double slam. He does have a triple poke as well, which is pretty bad. First 2 attacks aren't too bad on that, and you want to move around to the right-hand side to try to avoid that. This boss fight, in my opinion, identifies some of the more glaring issues when it comes to tracking, because the tracking in this game is just busted. To avoid the overhead slam, you basically want to back away. He doesn't chase after you too much when he starts performing this attack, but it means that if you find yourself cornered, you need to get out of that corner as quickly as you can, which is why you can have a lot of slip-ups in this boss fight, because the the arena itself is actually pretty small. He also picks up a shield bash charge type attack. This is actually pretty easy to parry once you get the timing of it. I didn't show it very well in the video, but if you just stand there and take it, you should be able to parry that, get some extra posture damage, as well as some extra chip damage on the boss.